Is your furnace struggling to stay lit, intermittently dying out on its own, or having issues where it's not reaching its satisfied temperature? You could need to clean your flame sensor. In this video, I'm going to show you how you clean your flame sensor, the tools you'll need, and all the safety precautions that are involved. Let's go over to the whiteboard and I'll show you what a flame sensor is and what it does for your system. Your flame sensor is what's responsible for detecting the flame inside the system to make sure that it's actually burning the gas is being burnt, and everything is safe for your home. So how it works is we have a little rod with a wire connected. What we do is we send power to the wire, to the rod, and then from there, as the flames come out and go across, this rod is responsible for sending a minute amount of voltage back to the chassis on the furnace, which is just the ground. And that's where we get our signal. Now this signal voltage is picked up by your control board so that your control board knows the flame's on, everything's safe, and it's good to let it run. If that signal gets too low, we start to run into issues of it short cycling or just struggling to stay lit in general. Now let's go over to our furnace and I'll show you the tools that are required and how we're going to do this cleaning ourselves. Cleaning the flame sensor is a pretty easy job. The two tools we'll need is a 1/4-inch nut driver. We want it to be long enough that we can actually reach the flame sensor screw without interrupting the burners or having to pull it apart more than we need to. So an extension might be required. The next thing is a $1 bill or a piece of 400 grit or higher sandpaper so that we can clean the flame sensor without damaging it or causing any more grooves that'll cause it to get dirty even quicker. Next, we need to locate the flame sensor on the furnace. So we've pulled the top and bottom doors off of our training furnace here, and I'll show you exactly what you're looking for. Now we've got two components inside of this burner assembly that are on the back side of the burners. The first one is your hot surface igniter, which is responsible for heating up and igniting the gas. The second one is going to be your flame sensor, which is right here. You can see it's white with one wire coming off of it, and you can see it inside of the assembly just hanging out where the flame goes in. So we'll start by removing the screw that holds the flame sensor in place. It's nice to have a screwdriver with a magnetic tip so that you're not dropping it back there and losing it in a place you don't want to be able to reach. Next, we can grab the wire of the flame sensor or just grab it by the base here, and we're going to carefully remove it from the burner assembly. Now some of these flame sensors are angled, so it might be a little tricky to remove. So if you need to unplug it at this point, feel free. We're just going to wiggle it out of that space. It can be a little tricky because it's tight, but once we get it removed, this is what we're looking at. You can tell this one's not super dirty, but it does have a little bit of debris and dust on the end of it. So now we'll move on to cleaning it. Now to clean this flame sensor, we first want to know we don't want to put our fingers on this sensor, as the oils in our hands will actually cause a little bit more damage than it will help, and we don't want that. We'll take our $1 bill, fold it in half. We'll put it on the end that makes contact with the flame, and we'll simply scrape it away and roll with it like this. This will remove a lot of that fine soot and debris on there, and we'll get it polished up to brand new. We can run this over a few times, but if you're using sandpaper, you want to make sure to go light enough and use a high enough grit that you're not actually causing grooves or indents inside of it that can cause it to have more issues. Once you've done that and removed all the debris you can, we're going to reinstall the flame sensor in the furnace, kick it back on, and see how it works. It's important that we put the flame sensor in the same orientation where we pulled it out so that it's getting direct contact with the flame and everything operates like it should. Once that flame sensor's tightened and in place, we can go ahead and plug it back in and check the operation of the furnace. Now when your furnace comes back on, you'll notice the inducer motor will kick on. Once we've proved flow with our pressure switch, then we'll get a call for the hot surface igniter. It may take about 20 to 30 seconds, so just be patient and wait for you to start seeing it glow. Now that the hot surface igniter is on, the board knows it's got a timer and it will send power to the gas valve and release the gas into the system. Once it's fired up, that flame sensor will detect the signal, send the signal back to the board, and your furnace will be ready to run again. Now, if cleaning your flame sensor doesn't work, sometimes we have to actually clean these burner assemblies. You can see right there, there's some white soot on the side. That's where it's actually sending the signal back to the control board. So sometimes you have to get in there with some Scotch-Brite or sandpaper and get all that soot cleaned up. It's a wise idea to get your furnace serviced once a year, just to avoid any issues that might be caused by flame sensor signal or anything like that. Just like that, we've cleaned your flame sensor and brought you a little bit more life to your furnace so that you can have some peace of mind. This is something great for you to do DIY, as it'll save you money on any costs. If you ever get stuck in this process, just know you can call us and we're happy to send the technician out to walk you through how you can do it yourself, or we can take care of the service ourselves. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Henry's How To's.